In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. Welcome to a special edition of Liberated Sisters. It is the Liberated Sisters Book Report. And today we feature author Hannibal Muhammad, his book, How Beautiful It Is. This is part 2, In My Father's Steps, Self-Reflection and Lessons in My Journey to Allah. Brother Hannibal is a master creator, a master marketer, but he is also a student minister and excellent teacher in the study of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the guidance and instruction, the divine leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad, your host. We are streaming live at Morris Media Studios. I got on my blue to match the book, kind of, sort of. This is a Queen Amina creation of Queen right in our community, right on the historic, monumental Degnan Boulevard. She is launching today a segment for Liberated Sisters whereby we open up the platform to you, our sisters, our Black and Indigenous people, the women of God, so that you may share the knowledge and information and all of the good news that you have going on, that you are creating, and that's impacting your community and can certainly uplift your people. So Queen Amina is going to conduct this riveting, I'm telling you, you want to stay tuned, spread the word about this interview with Brother Hannibal Muhammad. Brother Hannibal is phenomenal. His book, if you can see the image of it, he spared no expense, but also no passion, no creativity, no intelligence, no time in how he is putting the book out before the world. And there is just one of the very great images that he is using to broadcast the news about his book. So before we bring on Queen Amina, and I want you to remember, you can order this book at HannibalMuhammad.com, but I won't go further into what they're going to cover. I just want to take time and say thank you to everyone who has supported my own book, which Brother Hannibal was very instrumental in helping to bring to fruition. It is Pumps on the Ground, Trench Work and Analysis of Police and Street Violence, and this tells the story of myself as a young girl being from a very small rural town, Opelousas, Louisiana, coming to the big city and the journey to Allah God through the experiences that I had as someone watching the news and not understanding the fight between Palestinians and the Israelites, and seeing young men and boys throw rocks at huge tanks, only to see that even right now in 2021, though there's a ceasefire, we see that battle is still taking place. I saw that at the foot of my mother. She watched the news all the time. I didn't understand why I gravitated to the news, but at the end of the day, as a student writer for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for his Final Call newspaper, I've just been able to grow and learn and find my voice. And so that is what is in this book, Pumps on the Ground. And thank you to all of you who have helped me to sell out of volume 1. We're going to do another printing. And Brother Hannibal, I'm so excited, is going to handle the marketing campaign for that. But without further ado, I would like to say, when we come right back after this quick break, you will be seeing the beautiful, incomparable Sister Queen Amina Muhammad of Queen Amina's Clothing, and she will conduct the interview with Brother Hannibal Muhammad. And so the platform is open, sisters. Let me know what you are working on, what you are doing, and if you would like to podcast right here at Morris Media Studios through Liberated Sisters. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Stay tuned.
And the one word that was the strongest word spoken by all was the word love. God is love. Love is a forgotten thing in a world like this. And I just want to say, it was your letter. Where's that? It was your letter that touched my heart. But when I read your letter, my heart was moved, and we summoned the troops. I want to thank you, Brother Hannibal, from the depth of my heart. And I want to thank Allah for moving my heart by your words to get on a plane with several members of my staff. I want to say to this family, this is a very special family. This is a deeply spiritual family. Jesus said, whatsoever the Father bids me to do, that I do. Whatever the Father bids me to say, that I say. So he was a perfect representative of his Father. I heard a son a few minutes ago. I heard a son. I know the spirit that moved that young man. It wasn't the spirit of his father. It was the Spirit of God that came through his Father that touched his spirit.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Brother Hannibal, I'm so excited to see you and to read your book, In My Father's Steps, a self-reflection and lessons in my journey to Allah. I just want to know, what was your inspiration to write such an awesome book? I'm very excited about this book.
Oh man, wow. Before I even say that, let me first say thank you so much, Queen Amina, for opening this door that you've opened up for me to be able to come out to LA.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
so I thank you. Thank you, Morris Media, for allowing us to be on this platform today, and thank you to my big sister, Sister Charlene Muhammad,
That's
wherever
right.
you are right now,
That's right.
for opening this door. And I thank Almighty God, Allah, who came in the person of Master Father Muhammad. I thank the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for what they've given us. But to answer your question, wanting to help this man, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, trying to combat the attack that they continue to have on him,
Yes.
and the image that they created that people fall for all the time with this propaganda.
Yes.
So that's the reason why when you see fathers, it doesn't say apostrophe S, it says S apostrophe. Because I'm not only just talking about my biological father in this book, but I'm also talking about the father figures who have had impacts in my life, especially my spiritual father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's beautiful. And with saying that, I want to also thank Sister Charlene Muhammad for giving me an opportunity to come before you on Morris Media. I'm so excited, Sister Charlene. She's an awesome person.
Yes.
This show is great.
Yes,
and
it
I
is.
want everyone to call in and share and just get a lot of people to come on this show to hear the show. It's the call-in number is 323-815-4204. And that's YouTube, Morris Media Studios, morrismedialive.com. So, Brother Hannibal, tell us about this book. I know the first chapter that I went to was Living Your Best Life. And I thought, wow, he's right. We should really focus on living our best life.
Yes.
You know, but before we go to that, I want to say that I really thought this book was about your father. I really did. When I read, I said, oh, he's talking about his father. What an honor.
Yes.
But you are, but
Yes.
you're also talking about our father.
Yes.
Which is fabulous. So
Yes.
with that said, please share with us.
Well, absolutely. Beautiful question. This book was started before the transition of my father. And during that process, when my father made his transition, it motivated me to finish this book. Now, to the two chapters, there's two chapters that deal with living our best life. That's chapter 8 and chapter 9. You know, a lot of times we get consumed in watching other people, especially on social media, and we forget social media is really like an iceberg. Many people only see the little part that sits above the surface. They don't see the struggles that people go through to portray themselves as living this way they're living. And some may actually are living it, but many are giving you the best of them, but they don't tell you about the struggles that's going on the inside. So what I really want us to do is to focus on tackling our inside and being comfortable in our own skin. Being comfortable being who we are.
Yes.
Being comfortable opening up and actually tackling those inner demons that's keeping us from being successful. And when you really look at life in full perspective, you know, I've witnessed a lot of losses throughout the years. In the year that my father made his transition, I had 7 people transition that year.
Oh, wow.
And anytime you lose someone, it puts life in perspective.
That does.
And when you're looking at life, you start identifying all these things that you're chasing, all these big things you want, all these things you desire to have, just like a big wedding. You want this big wedding because you want everybody to look and say, look, I did it. But when you really look at life, life is really simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't require all those things. And when you look at the will of God, it's really simple. He wants simple things for us. And if we learn to appreciate those simple things, we'll find ourselves actually happier in life than as we're chasing after other stuff.
Wow, that is beautiful from a young man of what age? He
A
sounds
young man
like
never no.
a man full of
I'm
wisdom.
37.
37. Full of wisdom, though. And so, Brother Hannibal, so living your best life, what are your aspirations and dreams for living your best life?
Great question. For me, is fulfilling the will that God has for me.
Yes.
That's one of the things I'm learning to do, is fulfill the will that God has for me. 2, making sure my family's happy, man. You know, money's the thing that we need. I do want to make money,
Yes, sir.
but I want to make enough money so I can be comfortable and provide a high level of safety for my family and be able to create generational wealth from that point. But for me, living my best life is to not be consumed by the distractions of the world, to be able to walk freely, to not carry the weight of this world on my shoulders. I remember a couple years ago, I know you went to Egypt not that long ago.
Yes. Yes,
My
sir.
wife and I went to Dubai a few years ago, and when I got off the plane and walked out to the street, it was like the weight of this world came off my shoulders.
Yes, sir.
And when you feel something like that, you want that peace every day.
That's true.
So for me, it's to be able to live in peace and harmony, to have a peace of mind, to be comfortable, to watch my children grow up, to be in a position where I can just relax but still be productive and creative. Our beloved sister, Dr. Ava Muhammad, I love that sister so much. She made a statement in a lecture, as I paraphrase. She said that when you're living in survival mode, when you're paying your bills and everything, when you're in survival mode, you can't think beyond the right now. You're focused on the bills. You can't think what's going on. But when you're in creative mode, it allows you to expand your mind and go on to other areas. I want to be able to be in a constant creative mode of peace and harmony, and be able to be relaxed and know that I'm walking the will that God has set forth for me, and not be bothered by the world.
Yes, sir. So, with that, are you saying also living your best life is finding your purpose in life?
Absolutely.
And what steps would you say we need to make to find our purpose? Because some of us are, in our 50s and 60s and 70s, and we're still trying to find our purpose in life. What would you say is the best route to go?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. So you're actually about to make me tell the whole book today. I see it happening.
Uh-oh.
I see it happening. I see it happening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, what you're looking at is setting goals. The first thing I would tell anybody to do is to reconnect with that higher being, whether it's through meditation, prayer, silence, whatever it is. Find yourself there where you can reconnect. And I tell people all the time, if you didn't pray in the past, don't feel discouraged not knowing what to say. Be honest in your prayer. Be transparent in your prayer. Let God know, look, I don't usually talk to you, but hopefully maybe through some time you'll open up to me, we can talk. Then from there, set goals. Not just big goals. We always have our big goals, but set little small checkpoint goals that walks us into that big goal. Then after that, remove distractions. See, we set goals and then we go tell everybody our goals. And then we have the ones who don't agree with us, they'll come and say something negative that will kill our spirit.
Yes.
Remove the distractions. Stop finding ourselves comparing and competing with others. So as we remove these things from us, we will start finding ourselves growing. Change your diet, your mental, spiritual, and physical diet. Change what you're eating. Change, the environment you're in. Change the people you're communicating with. Different things like that will help us put ourselves in that position to actually fulfill it. And then learn to love the process. See, we are people who like to see the final result, but we don't want to see the process that got us to the final result. So what happens is, one of my big brothers, J. Cole, who just dropped a new album, love that brother too. J. Cole, I was at his concert and he talked about how you have rapid success and people look at the rapid success, but you have people who've been walking this process for a long time who finally get to success, and you think it was rapid, but you just didn't know it was a process that took them to get there. So you're just coming in at the end.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Call in, please, 323-815-4204. You can go to YouTube, Morris Media Studios, morrismedialive.com. If you have a question for this young man, and he's brilliant. We have a lot of geniuses in our midst, and we don't even recognize them. But, we're recognizing you today, Brother Hannibal. You are awesome. And so tell us a little more about family. What did your family help? How did your family help shape and mold you into the man that you are today?
That's a beautiful question. They play such a tremendous role in my upbringing. And one of the exciting things is, a lot of times when we don't get certain things, or we didn't learn certain things, or we didn't experience certain things, and we get upset with our parents for things that they didn't give us, we find ourselves angry in those areas, but we don't understand those are actually lessons for us. Sometimes our family's preventing certain hiccups that they experience in their life that they don't want us to go through. But my family has played such a tremendous role. When you look at my mother, who runs her own businesses, similar to you,
Yes.
runs her own business, is very motivated, always encouraged us to go and do for self. When you have somebody like my father, who ran his own business, very creative, very creative.
That's true.
And he did not like a cookie cut box type of concept. He wanted to be able to expand and be creative. When you have individuals like that in your life, it allows you to tap into that creative genius. It allows you to expand. It allows you to see things differently than other people may see. My parents also were very strict as being members of the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
But because of that, it taught me discipline. It taught me how to stay focused on the goals at hand. So I would not be the man I am today if it was not for my parents.
Beautiful.
at all.
Beautiful. And so back to How to Eat to Live. We all of us have read the book several times, but there's a difference in those that eat every other day, those that eat every day, and then those that eat all day. So
Yes.
I want to talk about you because you are eating every other day, and you've done this for how long?
Almost 10 months.
Almost.
I'll be hitting 10 months probably this weekend.
This weekend. Beautiful. And so what would you say that contribute to helping you to write the book and to expand your brain cells to think about things outside the box? Would you say that did help?
Absolutely. It absolutely helped. My goal was to actually launch the book last year. And God was like, no, it's not time yet. Pandemic kicked in. And after talking to your other son, Brother Salih, you was having a conversation. He actually encouraged it. It's been something on my heart and my mind for a long time. But he was like, brother, I think you could do this. And I was like, are you sure? It's intimidating to go to every other day. He was like, no, I really think you can do it. So we had set a goal that 30 days from that point, we would get into it. And what it did was it lifted me up from the weight of food. What do I mean by that? If you really think about it, and I'll use lunch as an example. If you think about it, you work a 9 to 5 and you go to work and you go take that lunch. Do you ever feel groggy or tired or heavy after you eat? Because we usually eat heavy foods. So what happened is once I removed the food, it gave me energy.
Yeah.
And with all that energy, I needed to move that energy somewhere.
Yeah.
So that energy went towards the book. That energy went towards the marketing. That energy went towards my creative side. Went towards me picking up more clients because I needed to use my energy.
Yes.
I found myself, late nights trying to go to sleep at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I finally would lay down exhausted. And then an idea would kick in. And it was like, nah, I might as well get back up and work on this idea. And next thing I know, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 o'clock. I haven't been asleep yet. I haven't had a chance to rest because the creativity was kicking in. So I will say the eating every other day, it clears your mind. It clears your body. It started removing toxins. I started feeling healthy. Well, I believe I am healthier. As of now, I'm down about 65 to 70 pounds.
Yes, I know. That's beautiful.
And all praises be to Allah.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you all a secret in this
Please.
piece. I haven't talked to many people about this.
Oh, okay.
I reached out to my big brother. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. My big brother, my big sister, because as the minister teaches us, you give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
And if these people help just a little bit, you make sure you acknowledge them for what they've done. And I know Brother Abdul Qiyam Muhammad. I know that he's been on this, I believe he's at 3 years now. And I have other individuals who's been on every other day for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I use them as my support. But I reached out to Brother Qiyam and I said, brother, I have a question for you. Have you noticed an improvement in your sight since being on every other day? And he was like, brother, people have been talking about that. I'm like, are you sick? I thought I was going crazy for a minute there. Like, I informed him probably the last 7 days of Ramadan. I didn't wear my glasses when I was reading. I would literally take my glasses off and
Beautiful.
read each day, and I didn't find myself struggling.
But hold it. You did every other day during
I
Ramadan?
did every other day during Ramadan. I'm not saying you have to do it. That was my choice. But yes, I did every other day during Ramadan.
And I just want to say that my children did the same thing, and that is Fahim and Jalila and Salih, my son-in-law, they did every other day during Ramadan, and they are motivating me to want to do every other day.
Yes,
I haven't
jump
done
on.
it yet,
Let's
but
do
I'm
it.
working on it.
We got you.
Yes, sir.
You have a strong support team.
So what do you say to people like me that like, okay, I'm going to do it, I want to do it, and then you end up eating something and throws you off. Just get back up and stand back up and.
Perfect question. We're not perfect.
Yes.
That's why it's a perfect question.
Yes.
We're not perfect. So what I would tell you is just like if you played any sports, you missed that shot, you turned over the ball, you made a mistake, you fumbled, you had a bad game. What do you normally do when you have a bad game? You go home, you pissed off, you may cry about it, you may drop your hoodie down because you don't want anybody to see the tears coming down in your face. But when you get home, you process everything you did wrong that game.
Yes.
And then now you go and you tackle that. All right, if I was doing this, if I made this mistake, if I moved this way, this is what I'm going to do now to improve in that area. So what I would tell people, if you go to every other day and you make a mistake, it's okay. Start back tomorrow.
Yes.
Just start back tomorrow. Whether you and I are on the same days, that's okay. Start back tomorrow and then set the goal. Ask yourself this question. What I love about the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we start off learning the who, then we go to the what. Then as you really want to go deeper into the understanding, you go to the why.
Yes.
So now you ask yourself, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Am I doing it out of vain? Because if you're doing it out of vain, it's going to show.
Yes.
Am I doing it out of a diet? See, this isn't a diet for me.
It's a
This
way of
isn't a
life.
diet. It's a way of life. I am transforming my life right now. So I don't have a set term. Because when we do diets, when you hit that set goal weight, now you get lazy.
That's true.
You start eating those sweets again. You start eating those snacks again. You go back to the food that you gave up because you're comfortable, and you go right back up. And that's where the weight fluctuates. This is a transformation in life. So if you fall off, just get back up. Don't beat up on yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you'll give me. I'm full today.
Yes, sir. That's
full.
wonderful. So, for the listening audience, we want to share with you, Brother Hannibal, would you share with us a little bit about what Ramadan is?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ramadan is our opportunity to grow into oneness with Almighty God Allah. We take 30 days and we fast during those 30 days. And it's not your normal fast, trust me. But it's a very beautiful fast. We give up water. We give up sex. Yes, I did say that. We give up sex. Yeah. Yes, with your spouse. You give that up during the sun time. We give up food. We don't consume anything. We give up profanity, which we should already be giving up anyway, from the time that the sun comes up to the time the sun goes down. And then when the sun sets, we actually have what's called an iftar. We go break fast with family members, believers, and we engage in celebration and enjoyment. But during that time period, we take this beautiful book called the Holy Quran, and we read 30 days worth of it. It's broken down into 30 parts, and each day we read a part, and that part should bring us closer to God. And as we're fasting, and as we're really going through times when we may struggle, it allows us to go back and reflect, and we make sure we focus on hitting our 5 prayers a day. So Ramadan is really an opportunity to reset ourselves spiritually, mentally, and physically, that we can start over and be able to walk a better life, growing into the oneness and the willness of Almighty God Allah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautifully said. So, for the listening audience, please call in and talk to Brother Hannibal. And that's 323-815-4204. Now, we're doing a book signing tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
And that's at Queen Amina's clothing store.
Sure is.
And that's at 4339 Degnan Boulevard. And we would love for everyone to come. It's between 12 and 5 o'clock.
Yes.
We're going to have a discussion from 12 to maybe 1 or 2 question and answer, and then he's going to have a book signing. So I'm inviting everyone to come. It should be awesome. This man is full of wisdom, and he's energetic, and I've been knowing him since he was a very young man, but I just love him so. He's grown tremendously. And with that said, Queen Amina Clothing, 4339 Degnan Boulevard, Los Angeles, California.
Thank you. And also, look, Jalila's listening. This is Charlene, everybody. Jalila's listening, and she wants you to talk about the weight of food.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we really think about the food we consume, and a lot of times we find ourselves eating out of comfort, eating out of stress, eating out of emotion.
Yes.
And as we go through those phases, we actually get comfortable eating that way. When you go to every other day, and thank you, Sis Jalila, for that question. When you go to every other day, you will start finding that the foods you once consumed do not appeal to your appetite anymore. The foods that you once consumed become heavy on you, and you start feeling horrible.
Yeah.
Like literally horrible after eating them, that you will start removing those foods from your diet.
Yes.
So what winds up happening is you will find yourself in a position where you want lighter food. So when I'm ready to eat, I'm looking at soup.
Yes, sir.
Salad,
Bean soup, right?
Yeah, let me
sir.
clarify that. A nice wholesome bowl of navy bean soup.
Yes, sir.
That's my go-to. That's a staple in my house. You know, some navy bean soup, probably some brown rice, probably a salad, a smoothie. I'm even to the point now that smoothies feel heavy on me. I'd rather have juices. I'd rather juice my fruits and vegetables now. So what you'll find is as you're eating, your body's getting lighter, and your body's requiring lighter things that's full of life. And it wants that in your body so that you can continue to grow. Thank you so much, Sister Jalila, for that question. I pray that I answered it, and for the listening audience, that you enjoyed it as well.
Great. So I think we have a call. We have a caller. Who's calling?
Yes, this is Sister Aisha.
Sister Aisha. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Walaikum salam, ma'am. How are you?
Awesome. We're awesome. We're here with Brother Hannibal, and he is sharing some wisdom today. You have a question for the brother?
Yes, I just want to first thank Brother Hannibal for his amazing book. I am putting in my order. I want 2 of them. So I will definitely be ordering the book. I just wanted to know, does he have any advice for any young fathers growing up, raising children, trying to balance, family life and work life?
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Aisha. Thank you for your question.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Thank you for your question. Before I answer your question, are you still on the East Coast?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you send my family out there on the East Coast love for me. That's why I was asking. She was like, I don't want them to know my business. All praises be to Allah. To your question, I'll put it like this. As a young father, one of the things that we should always do is make sure we put our family first. Why did I say? Now I'm going to say that again. Put our family first. Because as a father, naturally, we want to maintain. And our thoughts of maintaining is to go out and provide and bring money back to the house. And I've made many mistakes in that area where I miss recitals. I can't make that up. I miss quality time with my wife and my children. I can't make that up. So it's finding a balance of going and getting the money, but also giving the time, because you can't get time back from your family. When that time is gone, it's gone. So I would say at the end of the day, focus on making sure your family has what they need, and make sure you create outlets for yourself. Because yes, you might be married now. Yes, you may be a father now. That becomes weighty on you. But as a man, you had things you were doing that allowed you to go out and enjoy yourself, that will allow you to get the stress off. Make sure you keep things like that implemented in your life. Find other fathers around that you trust. Let me say that first. You trust, that you can confide in, that you can rock with, that you can move out with, that you can do things with, that you know you can have those father conversations with. Because there's going to be things you're going to go through as a father that you've never experienced before. And it's going to be different from the time our parents were parenting us. So you want to be able to go to your parents. You want to be able to go to your OGs. You want to be able to go to other brothers who may have older children, that we can discuss these things and say, yo, bro, listen, quick question. Did you run into that experience too? Or did you have this happen to you as well? Or did your wife ever do something like this? Because I'm trying to make sure I ain't going crazy right now. Because things like that do happen.
Yeah.
And then when you have that relationship, you can get that advice. Now, understand, some advice ain't good advice. So you may not want that advice, but you want to be able to do those things right there. And just spend time and learn your wife. Because at this point in time, as a young father and as a young husband, you and your wife's union is most important. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Work on building what makes you and your wife great. Whatever that greatness is, tackle that. And then find things and study your children and cultivate their genius.
That's
Whatever that may be, cultivate that.
That's right.
My daughter, my oldest daughter, she's very artistic. So now our focus is making sure we're putting things in front of her that allows her to expand her artistic drive. We just had her tested. They want to bump her up. She's going into 6th grade. They want to bump her up to Algebra 1. She just closed out this year 99 out of 100% year to date in her education.
Beautiful.
So all praises be to Allah.
Congratulations. Yes.
So with something like that, is constantly trying to cultivate. It's hard because you're trying to figure out in those areas what's her strengths and her weaknesses. So cover down their weaknesses and help strengthen the weaknesses while you're also strengthening up the strength. And do the same thing with you and your wife. Try not to argue. I'm not going to say you're not going to have bickering, but try not to argue. Try to settle on the best part and try to find where her weaknesses are and come to her and cover down on her weaknesses and ask her to cover down on your weaknesses, not to bash you, but to come to you in a certain spirit that fits your energy and fits your spirit right, that you two can lift each other up together. Remember, you're not married. Married ends with an ED. ED means it's completed. But you are in the union of completing a marriage, which means you two are on a journey together. There's going to be times that when you two are reading your book of life, you may be on different chapters. But if you find your wife being too far ahead of you, hold on, queen, slow down a moment. Allow me to catch up. Or can you come back and catch me up with you? If you find yourself too far ahead of your wife, hold on, queen, let me come and get you and carry you on my shoulders so I can show you where I am, that we can avoid the traps because I already went through them for you.
Beautiful.
I pray I answered your question, Sister Aisha.
That was beautiful. Do we have another question, sister? Okay.
Thank you so much, Brother Hannibal. That was excellent.
All praises be to Allah. Thank you for calling in.
Good. So I'm looking at chapter 7.
Uh-oh.
Corrupted by our own MO.
Uh-oh.
And I said, wow. So
Uh-oh.
our MO is established by our character, our personality, and the way we function. It is also established by our upbringing, our environment, and our influences. Can we talk about the MO?
Yes. Yes. So I'll put it like this. We make decisions in our life based off of our upbringing.
Yes.
Different things we experienced. So if you know to get to Morris Media, you have to go a certain route, or you're comfortable going a certain route, that doesn't mean it's the fastest route. Doesn't mean it's the most efficient route. Doesn't mean that it's the perfect route to go, but that's the route you know, so you stick to the route you know. In life, when we're on our journey, we stick to the journey that we know and we're most comfortable with. So we always go to the least resistant. And sometimes the journey we're on is actually a corrupted journey. Sometimes the way we operate is actually corrupted. It's not the best manner. It's not the best way, but it's the way we were taught. So what happens is when somebody comes and presents to us another way, naturally we fight against it because it forces us to step out of our norm. And we want to stay in our norm. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We deal with one of the 3 fears: the fear of failure, the fear of success, or the fear of the unknown. And a lot of times we're afraid because we're going into unknown territory, an unknown terrain. So by us having the upbringing, if you grew up in a domestic violent relationship, whether it was parents, you witnessed parents, or whether it was you yourself, naturally you gravitate back to domestic violence because you're comfortable now. Now,
It's
listen
crazy.
how crazy
No,
that
that's
sounds,
crazy.
right?
It's crazy.
That sounds crazy.
It's crazy, but it's true.
But it's true. We're comfortable now being in that environment.
Yeah.
Where when somebody comes to and you find you, to my dear sisters, when you find you a man that is so perfect now, that worships your feet, that wants to give you the world, that comes to you and he provides for you, but you came from a domestic violent environment, you think something's wrong with him because you don't think you're worthy of having that. But you sure are worthy of having it.
Beautiful.
So a lot of times we find ourselves in different environments, different things, and we think we're doing something right. And I'm leading to something. We keep repeating the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, which we know as being insanity.
Yes.
We find ourselves being insane, but we don't know that. So sometimes it's good to have a brother, have a sister, come and just give you a little nudge. Give you a little nudge, tap you on your shoulder, grab you by your coattail and say, come here, young buck, let me show you something. I went that route too once before, and I don't want you to go the same route. So let me show you how I can prevent you from being corrupted by our old ways. And I can show you a better way. That's why I love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he comes to us where we are at our level understanding. See, in there's a term for that. It's called individualism.
Yes.
It's called individualism. It's a leadership term.
Yes.
And I think a lot because I took a survey when I was working in banking to figure out what my top 5 leadership terms, strengths were, and that was one of my strengths. That and teamwork. And we know teamwork means you can come to a person or you come to a body of people and you're able to motivate them as a team.
Beautiful.
But individualism means that I can find you where you are, come to your level, cultivate you from your level, and lift you up from your level to get you beyond where you thought you can go. Wow. So when you're looking at being corrupted, sometimes you have to stop what you're doing and reassess where you're at. See, we have computers, and sometimes the computer doesn't know it's corrupted. You keep pressing a button, but it's doing the wrong thing. What's wrong with the computer? So sometimes you gotta do a diagnosis of the computer. You gotta diagnose that computer. Then sometimes you have to start over and refresh the computer. Start it over again. Sometimes you have to remove things from the computer. See, in our life, we have to remove things that's causing us to be corrupted.
Yes, sir.
Once we remove those things, now that opens up for something else to be placed there. Now you replace with something good, something positive, and you find yourself around people who are cultivating the same way you're cultivating. That's why when we as believers of the Nation of Islam find ourselves around more believers in the Nation of Islam, because we were living a certain lifestyle. And when we want to step out of that lifestyle, we could not stay in that environment and expect to live a different lifestyle. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gives us an example of if you were a alcoholic and you're a struggling alcoholic and you're trying to fight and break that part of your life, I can't meet up with you with Queen Amina at a bar.
No, sir.
That's too tempting for me.
No,
so I have to find myself in an environment away from that until I'm strong enough that I'm not tempted by the alcohol, the taste of that alcohol.
May I say this?
Please.
You couldn't meet me at a bar anyway.
Let it be known.
Let it be known.
Let it be known.
Been there, done that 40 years ago.
Come on.
No, thank you.
And look at how Allah has helped you. See?
Praise Allah.
Praise
Allah. I tell you, I don't want to start getting the Holy Ghost over here and being excited. But yes, sir, it's been a beautiful journey. Brother, chapter 4.
Uh-oh.
Understanding the variables of life.
Ooh.
Listen, he's 37 and he's got knowledge and wisdom like an elder.
Oh,
I
man.
want to hear about it.
Oh, man.
Tell me about the variables of life and understanding them.
In life, similar to Corrupted by Our Own MO, we run into things. And everything we run into, whether it's good or bad, isn't always a loss. Some things are actually lessons. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about the fact that they lost a family member and how much it hurt them to lose that family member and to see other people doing things that they were doing, and you're looking like, well, God, why did you take her instead of taking them?
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure we all go through that.
Yes, sir.
You know, why me? Why me, God? Why me?
Mm-hmm.
Sound like Moses and the wise man.
That's right.
So what I explained to the person was this. Sometimes God removes people from among you, not for them, but for you.
Yes.
Sometimes he does it for you. By him removing this person was so perfect to you.
Yeah.
It made you have to step up and finally listen to the things that person was teaching you through God. Yeah. That now, see, sometimes you will remove, sometimes you can have one casualty in order to have a masses.
That's right.
So when we look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, see, he may have to go, as he will go, so that the masses can raise up. So when we go into these variables, there's different aspects of our lives that help mold us into the other aspect, that take us to the other aspect. When you look at this beautiful book, I'm gonna go ahead and do it real quick.
Please.
When you look at this beautiful book, In My Father's Steps, right here around the word father, you see something called a maze. In that maze, if you look at a maze, we're all going through different mazes in our lives. If you look at the maze, you look at the maze as a journey. And sometimes we're going through this maze, as we've all played different mazes or drawn through different mazes as children, and we find ourselves coming into a brick wall. But we got so far down the line in that maze that we thought we was going to the finish line. But what that really was Allah allowing us to go on a particular journey to learn certain things. Now when we get to that brick wall, we have to pivot, do an about face, or do a left face, or do a right face, and then maybe have to take a couple steps back and then go to another journey. But because there was certain things he wanted us to gather from it that will help strengthen us for the next part of our journey. So when we go through our lives, there's different variables like that. So what I'm saying is, don't get so consumed in that one period in your life. Because after you go through that period is just to make you stronger for the next period. It's like lifting weights. You may start off with just the bar. Then you may add a 5 pound, then a 10 pound, then a 25 pound. Then you may throw a plate. That's a 45 pound. Then you start working your way to 2 plates. And now you find yourself so strong that no matter what variables thrown your way, you're not even bothered by it no more.
Beautiful. Wow. Okay, brother. Well, let me ask you something. On page 87, you say the decisions we make today will impact our lives 10 years from now.
Yes.
So I want to hear about that. I want to hear about that a little bit.
Well, let me first clarify. Let me give credit where credit is due. I was in Houston, Texas, with Brother Kiam. At the time, his name was Brother Jesse. He was speaking at one of the schools. And they had a special guest speaker there. And if you're old school hip-hop, you know who this person is. His name is KRS-One. And he went on to explain that to the students. And I sat there like, wow, I've never thought about it like that. So what I learned from that is the decisions you make now, good or bad, has an impact on you or your environment 10 years from now. Here's an example. If you have bad credit because you were like me back in college, my parents didn't teach me about credit in school. You know, that was one of the, as a child, one of my frustrations. You didn't teach me this. My parents didn't teach me about credit as a child. When I turned 18, 19, I'm in Texas, I'm in college, I'm broke, I'm eating noodles and top ramen noodles. I mean, potatoes every night for dinner, macaroni and cheese, whatever I could get into my body to hold me over. And I remember walking home from what's called the Tiger Walk, from the school going back to my apartment. There were some people out there, and they were passing out a brochure application, credit card applications. And they were like, if you apply for this credit card, we'll give you one large pizza. I ain't had pizza in like 6 months. What? I'm excited. So I signed up for a credit card, right? I get approved. I thought I read the description of how it works, but what I saw in my mind was I got a $500 credit card. Every month, I got $500 loaded back on that credit card. Month goes by, they're looking for a bill. They're looking for me to pay it. I owe money, and I'm confused. What do you mean? I thought you were going to give me $500 every month. Next thing I know, I put myself in a situation where they get charged off. That impacted my credit. I did that a few times, impacted my credit. Now you take myself years later, ready to get married, and the wife and I want to purchase a home. Guess what, sir? You don't have the credit for it because you made a bad decision in the past that impacted you in the future. So the decisions we make now have impacts on how we function in the future. If we used to do drugs, or if we have felonies, you got a felony off of some bad decisions we made in the past, those felonies impact us trying to get employment now. That's simple.
That's beautiful. That's a great example. Okay, please call in 323-815-4204 and ask Brother Hannibal a question. Brother Hannibal, let's talk about chapter 8, Living Our Best Life, Islam, Peace, and Harmony. Tell me how Islam has brought peace and harmony into your life.
Well, let's first define it. If you look at words come rooted out of other languages. And Islam is a rooted word, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at, in Arabic, you have SLM. When you have those letters together in that order, don't have to be right next to each other, but in that order, that means peace. So when you see Muslim, Islam, Salam, Shalom, that means peace. So me coming into Islam wasn't me coming into a religion. I'm gonna say that again. Me coming into Islam wasn't me coming into a religion. Islam is a way of life. It's the actual nature of you as a being. God gave us Islam when he created us. So he gave us peace. So living your best life is you growing into the oneness of God, which allows you to grow into the actual aspect of having true peace. See, a lot of times we get caught up with celebrities.
Yes.
And during this pandemic, and I pray everyone's doing well right now during this pandemic, and don't get caught up in everything else in that process. Our dear sister, Gabrielle Union, came out to, I believe, social media. I don't think it was the news, but I believe she was on social media. And she was, I don't want to say complaining, because that's not the word. She was expressing some concern. And she was talking about needing work because she lived check to check. Now you're thinking, right? Exactly.
Wow.
You're thinking you're a celebrity. You're making all this money. You're living check to check. You would think things were paid off. No, the more money a lot of people make, the more expenses they have. Just like Biggie said, more money, more problems. You know how that goes. So once you start learning that I don't need money, you need money to get by, but I don't need money as me as a person. I need to be able to have things to be able to function. So as we start simplifying things, as we're growing into the oneness with Almighty God Allah, we start finding the peace that he has set forth for us. The things, like I mentioned earlier, that were distractions, they're no longer distractions. The things that will bother us, they're no longer bothering us. The things that will take us into depression no longer take us into depression, because we start finding ourselves being levitated. That too. Elevated, and we find ourselves actually kind of levitating because we're eating every other day, as Sister Jalila was talking about earlier, and the food is no longer heavy on us no more.
Right.
So now we start finding ourselves really light on our feet, like we're walking on our tippy toes. But it puts us in a position where we find ourselves happier. Now, I'm not saying you need to run to a mosque to get that. Now, that'll be nice. If you're in the LA area, go to Muhammad Mosque number 27. You in the Phoenix area, go to MM30. So you anywhere in the world, go find your Muhammad Mosque or study group in that area. But what I'm saying is, as you and I start removing the things that has been holding the weight on us. See, that's the thing about it. When you're traveling and you have luggage, you can feel the weight of the luggage.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm on a hike going up the mountain, once I take out that big bottle of water, that doesn't have weight on my back no more. As I drink the water and I toss it in the trash can, that's one less thing that carries weight on me. So as we start removing those things that carry weight on us, we start finding ourselves in a happier place. We start finding ourselves in more peace and harmony, and that's the thing that gives us the happiness that we want.
Beautiful. Beautifully said, brother. And also, they can go to NOI.org and
Yes,
listen to
absolutely.
Minister Ishmael on Sundays,
Ooh.
or one of the other brother
Ooh.
ministers. I mean, that's awesome on Sundays. It's
Yes.
so inspiring. That's
Yes.
whether you're a Christian, Muslim, whatever your faith is, you would love listening to Minister Ishmael on NOI.org.
Yes.
Brother Hannibal, you also have in your book that it's a self-help book. It's self-help, and it has techniques and self-actualization. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And as we've been, having this discussion, I pray that this has been helping you to improve yourself. So, because that's really what the goal is to help us grow more spiritually. Throughout the book, I set goals. And each chapter, there's a set of goals and activities that I ask you to do that will help improve your life, as it has helped me improve my life. That's why it's self-reflection and lessons in my journey to Allah. So as you're going through this journey, you will see, like, one of them is a 21-day challenge. Yeah, 21 days. And in that 21 days, I make mention of giving up. In that 21 days, I make mention of giving up, or not giving up, to actually focus on meditation, focus on that quiet place, focus on reconnecting with Almighty God Allah. In that 21 days, I talk about giving up social media. I know, I get it. Don't jump on me though. Don't jump on me. But I talk about giving up social media just for 21 days, and see how much of a change happens in your life when you give up and you have that fast from social media. Also talk about actually social media. Also say whatever that goal is you've always wanted to accomplish.
Yes.
We always got that one thing we want to do. For the next 21 days, focus on it. So I set goals like that within the book.
Beautiful, beautiful. We have a caller. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam to the Duke from Los Angeles.
Yes, ma'am. You have a question?
Yes, I have a question for Brother Hannibal. I
Uh-oh.
wanted to ask um, the discipline of eating every other day. How would you say that helped you in your fatherhood personally?
That is a great question. That is a great question. So, discipline is one of the most important things. Because in discipline, there's love. I'm going to say that again. In discipline, there's love. And by me setting a disciplined goal to eating every other day, it has improved. See, what led me to eating every other day was a few things. One, when I lost my father, and I was able to go back and look at the janaza, and I saw myself in that beautiful FY uniform, and I'm in that FY uniform, and I'm looking at, I'm out of shape. I'm not the right weight, and to be in my proper uniform, that bothered me. I felt like I didn't represent my father or my family well when I look at those pictures. Then looking at the weight I put on in my family, my mother, my children, my wife, and things they would say to me about, man, you need to lose some weight. And I didn't realize I was fat. I thought I was just getting a little swole up, feeling good. But I looked at those things. I almost lost my mother that same year. And they're both in their 60s. And I told myself, I don't want to be in my 60s in bad health conditions. So it forced me, out of the love for my family, the love for myself to want to be here for my family, that created a stronger discipline for me to go tackle the thing that could prevent me from being here longer. I hope that I answered your question. I don't want to go too long because I know the show is short today. I can get long-winded. I'm full.
Yes, sir. Sister, thank you for that question. And we're going to have Brother Hannibal back on Liberated Sisters. I want to say to everyone that tomorrow at Queen Amina's Clothing in Leimert Park at 4339 Degnan Boulevard, we will have a book signing. We will have first a discussion from 12 to 2, and maybe from 3 to 5, we will have the book signing. So please come in. Brother Hannibal, you think we can do a Zoom, and anyone that...
Absolutely.
So we'll...
No.
Facebook Live?
You need to come in person.
But for those out of town...
I'm playing with you.
For those out of town that want to come.
We'll strive to do a Facebook Live for everyone who's not in person that want to join in and just enjoy the discussion. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. And also, do you have any closing remarks?
Yes. Like I mentioned before, I want to thank Morris Media, our dear sister Felicia, for opening the door for us today. My beloved sister and big sister Charlene Muhammad, you, Sister Queen Amina, and your family and everyone's family, and the listening audience for tuning in today. You could have been anywhere else, but you were here with us. And come on out. Come on out tomorrow. And if you can't make it, that's okay. That's all right. Just go ahead and go to HannibalMuhammad.com and get you a book. I'm personally signing them and shipping them to you. And if you're uncomfortable going to other sites, go to Amazon.com. Go to Apple iBooks. And if you're interested in writing your own book, also visit my site because I put a little ebook together for you. And I thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for giving me this opportunity to be a better servant in the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir. And if we had more time, that was our discussion. Next was going to be your walk with Farrakhan. I love it. So thank you for viewing the Liberated Sisters special book report with Hannibal Muhammad. I'm Amina Muhammad. I'm saying if it's impacting our community or we can uplift us as a people, let's talk about it. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.